There's a number of factors. There's no one thing. I think it's that we kind of overshot on what the definition of success was here in the US, and that success in the American dream meant a 4-year degree, a home, and a picket fence. And part of that came out of the post-war boom. Certainly for many millions of people, that is a definition of success, to be sure. But there's many pathways to success, and many of them travel through community college and technical colleges and training. And so really what I like to focus on, rather than degrees or lack thereof, is really skills. Skills are the coin of the realm today. And so I think that as manufacturing changed over the last 20, 40, 50 years, and manufacturing has evolved so much, you are 2/3 more likely to enter manufacturing if you have someone in your family who's been in manufacturing. And I think that's an awareness thing. I came from manufacturing. My dad and grandfather were in the sector. And so I grew up hearing them talk about and lament the fact that they need people with skills to do these jobs, and how important it is that we make things here in the US. And of course, all of that is true and have remained true. But we have to talk about the pathways and the opportunities that may or may not come just through a college degree. And so we need to broaden the horizons on that. And so what I like to say is there are great manufacturing careers available today with 8 weeks of training or 8 years of training. And it's truly, we need all of the above.
I go back to when I started college 40 years ago. And so I'm a product of the greatest generation. From their standpoint, you go to school, you get the college degree. Manufacturing is very different now than it was 2 and 3 generations ago, as you alluded to. This is not your father or grandfather's, literally in your case, manufacturing, is it?
No, not at all. And that's what's funny. So I remember going to the factory with Dad when I was little. And what I see back when we used to tour all the time, what I got to see when I'd go to the companies and go to manufacturers today was so different. There are some similarities. When I toured, actually, Sukup Manufacturing was one of the last factories I got to go to before the shutdown, it seemed. And what we saw was very similar. You were bending metal, and teams are working together to create things. And of course, it was to the higher goal and the purpose of what the companies were making. Those things have changed, but how we do it and some of the technologies that we use are so different. There are many facilities that we go to that you could eat off the floor. It is so clean and it is light and bright. And that is not what I remember from the screw machine industry, business my dad had when I was young. And that has changed so much. But we have to do a better job. Manufacturing as a career, because we have fewer people in manufacturing and we have this huge need today because of the comment, earlier about how you're more likely to go into the sector if you know someone in it. The awareness of the opportunities in manufacturing has changed, I'd say, since my grandfather's generation. The opportunities in the sector, people just don't know it. We have to tell them our story. And that to me is one of the biggest drivers of our gap, which is why the National Association of Manufacturers and the Institute launched our Creators Wanted campaign to tell the story of modern manufacturing and change the perception so people see, not only future workers, but their parents and other influencers see the opportunity so that they know that these are rewarding, well-paying, durable careers for their loved ones to enter.
I spent 25 years teaching college students in liberal arts curriculum. And there would be many times, first of all, I would look at someone and they didn't want to be there. They had no business being there. They had no aptitude for it, but they only knew of the one path. To your point, they had not been given the full information about what was available. And then they would rack up, especially at a private college, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 of debt. And then they were making very little money in their chosen field. It's almost the reverse with regard to some of these jobs in quote unquote manufacturing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. So I went to a liberal arts college and I'm a poli-sci major and started my career on Capitol Hill and lamented how little I was paid as a staffer. And my father always said to me, well, if you were a machinist, you'd be making about $100,000 right now. Now I had no aptitude for that, but I feel like I've turned it around by this role. But the people aren't aware, and that's why our things like our FAME, our Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education apprenticeship initiative that we now operate, that was founded by Toyota, Participants in FAME today, they have a 21-month program. It is intense, no doubt. It is earn and learn. You're coming out, though, with an associate's degree and training as an advanced maintenance technician. Everybody needs those jobs filled. That is a high demand job. And what we found through a study that was released last year by Brookings Institution and Opportunity America was that graduates of FAME at the same technical school in Kentucky 5 years after graduation earned $45,000 a year more than graduates of the same program who were not part of FAME because of the method and how they teach FAME. And it is paired with what you learn, what you do in your day job. And those companies, 85% of those companies sponsoring students through FAME hire those folks on the way out. So they've come out with, a fantastic job, a fantastic career path, an in-demand skill set, and no college debt. And for many people, they don't even know that exists. And so how do we change the mindset of this opportunity that it is really about gaining skills that is your coin of the realm, right? It's your currency that makes you a high in-demand person, which of course, as we all know from economics, helps you demand a wage, right? That those opportunities are there and accessible. And that's the thing. But what we also have to change the narrative about, I think, in this country more broadly, is that education is not a destination. You're not done. It is lifelong learning. And it's that compilation of skills, what you learn throughout your career and what you continue to add to your resume, your own toolbox, if you will. That's what makes you even more in demand and keeps you relevant. And that's a huge opportunity.
Carolyn Lee is Executive Director of the Manufacturing Institute, online at themanufacturinginstitute.org. We spoke via Zoom on Tuesday, July 6th. Now, there's much more to be learned on this topic, so we'll have more of this conversation in a future edition of this program. Still to come, more proof that Iowa's businesses are positive about their near-term future. And in our business profile, a pair of businesses leading a boost in Grundy Center's downtown. You're listening to the Iowa Business Report.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
During this challenging and unprecedented time, Gundersons is here to serve with expert guidance and understanding to each family and their unique needs. We provide options for funeral, cremation, memorial, virtual, and webcast services, either presently or at a later date. We understand that grief does not wait. We are trained to help you walk this path to bring comfort and support. Every life deserves to be recognized and celebrated, whether it be together or afar.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at jmike1400.
The Iowa Business Report is presented by the Iowa Family Business Center by UNI, sponsors of an event in Boone on August 19th called Tour, Lunch, and Connect with the Fairway Family. Learn more by going to advanceiowa.com. Last year at this time, many businesses were just starting to reopen in the wake of the global pandemic. Now, many appear to be more than ready to make up for lost time. The latest survey of members of the Iowa Association of Business and Industry shows great optimism for growth in the third quarter. Mike Ralston is president of Iowa ABI.
Our members tend to be optimistic anyway. You have to be in the face of a global pandemic. What else are you going to do? But almost 80% of them said they expect sales to expand in the next quarter. And that's been kind of the line for a long time now, several quarters that sales are up. But that's really terrific. I think something like 72% of them said they were going to hire if they can find the people. So that's good. That's another thing that's also consistent. And then lastly, I'd say the thing that really continues to surprise me is consistent plans to make major capital expenditures, a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, a physical plant expansion. 75% of respondents said they were going to do that. So that's all incredibly good news and also sort of consistent with where we've been. It has been strong these last couple of quarters. Certainly it's much improved over a year ago, though, and I think these numbers are sort of confirmation about what we're seeing nationally, that folks are ready to spend. They didn't go anywhere last year. They stayed home. They didn't spend a lot of money. Maybe they received some assistance from the federal government, so they've got money. So people are buying things, and that sort of is reflected in that sales projection. And boy, I hope that's accurate. Certainly, what's new in this survey is a heightened sense of concern about supply chain. And when people hear supply chain, they think, oh, that means that they can't get what they need. Well, it may mean that. It may mean that they can sort of get what they need, but the quality is off from what they usually get. Or it may mean that they can get what they need, but the price is, sort of substantially increased. And then what do they do? Do they pass it on? And so all those very different supply chain issues were part of the responses to this survey. And that's a little new for us.
More information about the Iowa Association of Business and Industry's quarterly business survey can be found on their website, iowaabi.org. And you can follow ABI on Twitter at IowaABI. Coming up, one family, multiple businesses. You're listening to the Iowa Business Report.
Michael Devine, broadcasting live.
It's 4:27. The news and weather coming up.
If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that the easiest way for germs to get into your body is the nose. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs that cause congestion, colds, and flu, so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Experience Navage at zero risk. Go to Navage.com, buy Navage, and use it for a month. If you're not delighted, return it for a full refund. There's nothing to lose and a lifetime of better breathing to gain. Navage, Navhee.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
With your KVFD News Update, I'm Rob Jones. The Webster County woman and child that have been reported missing have been found.